Bruce Ohr reportedly bypassed his DOJ superiors to feed the FBI information from discredited dossier author Christopher Steele. Trump recently said he'd like to strip Ohr's security clearance. The demoted Justice Department official is set to testify Tuesday in a closed-door House Oversight and Judiciary hearing. Joining me now to talk about it, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch. So not only, Chris, did Bruce Ohr insinuate himself into an investigation he wasn't a part of, but he violated rules and regulations by initially circumventing the FBI going directly to Steele and then trying to establish the Steele-FBI relationship after Steele had been fired. Is that the definition of corrupt acts?
It is corruption, and also realize while he's doing that, he's also leveraging the relationship via his wife with Fusion GPS to also manipulate the media as they went around trying to farm out stories for people like Michael Isikoff at Yahoo and other places. So they're trying to develop this fake kind of double source confirmation to bolster the phony narrative. And Ohr is right in the thick of it. He is the linchpin in all of this.
So, in other words, he and his wife are financially profiting, because she's getting paid for this, from a document that he is then peddling. You know, the last time I checked, a federal law, bribery, gratuity statute, and other honest services fraud statute says you cannot use your public office for personal financial gains. It's a felony. And yet, it doesn't appear that there is a serious investigation of that by the Department of Justice. And in fact, Sessions hasn't even fired Bruce Ohr, who richly deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, why is he still walking around the Justice Department? Why has he been now for months once he was identified as a guy who not only tried to steer a presidential election and abuse his office, but then monetized it? He lined his pockets with cash, leveraging his wife's position, and who knows what the relationship was with Steele. So, I don't put anything past him in this regard. How low can you go? And why is Ohr even wandering around? And look, the rest of the FBI, the entire leadership of the FBI has either been fired, resigned, retired. They're all playing golf, laughing at this.
Right.
And there appears to be zero consequences.
And who do you blame for that? Jeff Sessions? Was the president right when he said he never took control of the Department of Justice? He hasn't done investigations into, I'm using the president's tweet, deleted emails, Comey's lies and leaks, Mueller's conflict, McCabe, Strzok, Page, Ohr, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's a long list.
It is a long list. And, I guess if you take the most expansive possible interpretation of the Russia hysteria, maybe that's how he's excusing himself. But look, this stuff predates the election.
Right.
This goes back to Hillary Clinton, sending classified material across her server years before. It's a ripe investigation that should be brought to a grand jury. And the problem is the deep state blocks it every step of the way.
Sessions and to some extent President Trump as well had said there was going to be a serious investigation, a serious re-review of Hillary Clinton's emails. Betsy Woodruff several months ago said that was happening, although the Department of Justice won't comment on it. I suspect there is no review of Hillary Clinton's email case in which James Comey, wrongfully in defiance of the law, cleared her. What do you think?
I agree, and the problem is, what's left over at state. All the people with guilty knowledge, or many of the people with guilty knowledge of Hillary Clinton's activities at state, are still there. These are deep state operators. They're the same people that are currently going to great lengths to undermine an elected government in Guatemala by shoveling money at them, trying to undermine, or trying to empower this UN official who's unaccountable. And the leadership of the State Department may be going in one direction, but all the political operators, all the deep state creatures, they don't give a damn. They're doing whatever they please. And people get away with this stuff all the time.
In my book, The Russia Hoax, I spend several chapters talking about the conduct of James Comey. There it is, #1, 3 weeks in a row on the New York Times bestseller list. Thank you very much. You can pick it up in bookstores anywhere. But James Comey, now, does it look to you like he deceived Congress when he said that they had, let me get the exact words, reviewed all of the communications on the Wiener laptop?
Absolutely, because if you look at the glacial pace at which the Hillary Clinton email server investigation was done, and then the discovery of the Wiener laptop and the efforts to suppress that by certain persons, and then this race to get through them all, it doesn't pass the sniff test. It's unbelievable. They take forever to do the most cursory, basic sort of efforts on the server, and then they magically know how to go through hundreds of thousands of emails in a matter of days.
Right.
It's preposterous, and he's utterly unbelievable.
Well, and it turns out, you know, Comey was talking about the wizardry and wonder of computer technology when, in fact, it was a computer glitch and technical error that prevented them from doing it, and yet they represented that they had reviewed it all. I mean, it's
and to this day, in court hearings in the last week, we hear the same story out of the Department of Justice about glitches.
Yeah, they must think Americans are just profoundly stupid.
They do. I mean, they think they're going to throw a fastball right past it, and no one's going to even blink.
Chris Farrell, always good to see you, Chris. Thanks very much.